Hello, everyone, and welcome to another segment of Working the Dash with TK. This is the chat with TK, and we're so excited about being here today. I want you to get your friends, get your neighbors, get your cousins, your aunties, your uncles, your sisters, your brothers, and let them know that we are live right here on the chat with TK. And today, it's a huge night in gospel music. We all know it. We all love it. It's a huge night in gospel music. And so tonight, we're going to talk about something so spectacular. I want to invite you in. As you're coming in, please let me know where you're from. Just type it in the chat box there and let me know where you're coming in from. And it's just going to be a phenomenal segment. I want to invite everyone to the chat with TK. Thank you so much for joining me. And we're getting ready to jump right in here. Just by way of announcement, once again, huge night in gospel music. Everyone knows that even right now, the red carpet for the Stellar Awards are going on. So I want you to also tune into that. I know we're going to be in competition with a lot of things that are going on, but nevertheless, we are here. We're still moving forward. We're focused and we're doing what we have been called to do in this time frame. I'm so also excited to announce that on BET tonight, this is the finale for Sunday Best, and we are going to see the battle. It's going to be the battle out between Jada Spite and Stephanie Summers. So keep it locked, stay tuned in, stay connected. We got a lot going on out here in the social media world, and we're just one of the platforms that's coming to you to bring you some of the best and the greatest in what's going on. So I want you to stay right where you are right now. There's going to be live coverage from a lot of different areas, but I do want to shout out Freedom Radio. They're going to be covering parts of the Stellar Awards. They're also going to have backstage interviews from BET Sunday Best. I want you to connect there. So just come on in. Let me know where you're coming in from. And I'm getting ready to introduce to you for tonight's conversation. Listen, I know that there are a lot of people out there just like me. You've been afraid to capture the very essence of who you are. You've been afraid to put yourself out there. You get ready to do it and you say, that's all right. I'm not going to do that because I'm afraid and I'm battling these different elements in my mind. But tonight, we are going to debunk the voices of fear. We are going to overcome the negativity that's in our mind. And what we're going to do is we're going to learn tonight how to defeat the demon choir. I want to welcome to the stage this evening. I want you all to put your virtual hands together, clap real loud, clap real hard as I bring on none other than Dr. Eric Williams. He is an author. He is a pastor. He is a teacher by trade. And I just want you to understand something about this man. He is intelligent. Most importantly, I want you to know that he is my cousin. This is my first cousin. And yes, and that's the absolute most important. So he has quite a few accolades under his belt. He's done a lot of different things in the industry of virtual learning, virtual teaching. And he has spent his time in developing others. And what I would like to do is introduce to some and present to others in our normal custom. Thank you so much, Dr. Williams, for coming on and joining us tonight to talk about your new release, which is entitled Demon Choir. I am going to put this up here. Demon Choir. I want to show you. Demon Choir is the new book. And yes, I know the topic. The topic kind of throws you off just a little bit when you hear it. But Demon Choir is for anyone who is trying to, it's a fictional tale, but it's also for anyone who is trying to overcome the voice of fear in their mind. So please help me welcome tonight Dr. Eric Allen Williams on the biggest night almost in gospel music history.
It is.
For us, you're on with the Stellars, you're on with the finale of BET's Sunday Best. And God would so orchestrate that we will have this particular conversation regarding overcoming the voices of fear in our mind. Please come on in and let us know who you are, what it is that you do. Introduce yourself in the fashion that you would like, and please go ahead and dive in to this phenomenal book. about the voices that would cause us to hinder our own progress and impede forward movement.
Yes, I'm super excited about being here, TK, tonight. Thank you for the invitation.
Sure.
Truly, you are a trailblazer as well. You really inspire my wife and I too in the things that we do. I think it's so great when you just have a cadre of people surrounded around you to help spark that vision, to help keep momentum, because that's what this book is all about, Demon Choir. The enemy comes to destroy those dreams. When we mention demons, a lot of people get scared and they start thinking about Jason versus Freddy, Friday the 13th, all these different things. When we talk about demons, we're talking about those disembodied spirits that are assigned to destroy our life. And we have to drown out that voice. So just to give a little bit of background about me. Of course, I'm Eric Allen Williams. I didn't originally have the middle name Allen. My wife, as a gift to me, which is my father's name, who was one of my mentors, Allen Williams, she gave me that as a gift. So the addition to Allen, that's something new within the last probably 4 years, which helped to inspire me. Yes.
What a gift! What a gift!
It's an addition. It's something that I've talked about, and she made it happen. And it's good to have a really good woman on your back.
Hey, yes, we know how to make it happen.
Yes. So anyway, that was part of the voyage to writing the book. Sure. It begins, I think I've talked about this earlier when we did our segment of how this got started. So often in life, we put our gifts, we put our dreams on a shelf, and we just leave them there. We lock it there and don't return to it. So about 20 years ago, I had a dream where I literally heard voices, negative voices speaking to me to sabotage my dreams, to sabotage my vision. Some of these words that I heard were, the main one I heard was procrastination. Because I think that's one of the deadliest weapons that Satan used to destroy us. If you're thinking about going back to school, that's a weapon that the enemy uses. It says you can't do it. If you're thinking about starting a business, that's one thing. So to trace back this 20-year voyage, I had the dream back then, wrote it down, thought about it. But sometimes that's what we do. We think about it, but we don't write it. So I thought about it. And then one of the first things I did, I went back to school. I got my master's degree, doctorate, and then do
you mind sharing what age you were when you decided that you were going to go back to school?
I was probably maybe 36, maybe 36.
So late 30s. So I want to just put a pin there for anybody who's thinking, I'm in my late 30s, I'm in my mid 40s, I'm almost 50, I've raised my family. Maybe there's not really a need to go and that voice that you're talking about right now that would impede our thought process of moving forward. One of that voice is you're too old or it's too late.
Yes. And sometimes the enemy tells you that it's too late. Going back to a little bit of bio about me, my parents are they are two of my greatest mentors in life. They always sparked that vision, that tenacity, that entrepreneurial spirit. Going back further than them, I think about my grandfather, Earl Peterson, who was a great pioneer, entrepreneur in his right. I think about my great grandfather, Lewis Williams. I think about Rance Peterson, all of these men who I didn't even meet, but they laid a foundation for me to stand on now. So by no means, I can't say today that I'm not here on my own, but those people, they played a pivotal role. Even my grandmother, Nazarene Peterson, who worked as a custodian, but worked really hard, had a strong work ethic. So it does not matter where you are right now. Some of us think I'm working at a certain place that defines who I am. Wow. If you have a tenacity, if you drown out the voice of fear, and that's what Demon Choir talks about, the voice of fear, and it manifests itself. One of the ways is through procrastination.
Procrastination.
We just in a rut. We get stuck and we do not move forward. Let me tell you what.
Talk about procrastination. Go ahead.
Yeah, procrastination. Let me tell you about what procrastination. Procrastination is the fear of moving forward.
Yes.
Some of us, we have brilliant ideas. We have brilliant dreams. I heard Miles Monroe, who was another mentor, I have to talk about him. He says that one of the greatest places for dreams and visions, one of the wealthiest places in the world is the grave.
My God.
And another one, a place that's wealthy is the shelf, because that's where many of our dreams, our visions, our goals are on the shelf. And we wake up in the morning, and some of us are even frustrated even right now. We're mad at everybody else because we have not done our due diligence in making that dream come forth. We have people around us. You may have your spouse, and I'm blessed to have a great spouse who supports me and who's there for me. But at the end of the day, you have to have that drive in you. Another one is retaliation. Another one of those voices of retaliation, the fear of letting go. Some of us are holding on to the past. We're holding on to things.
Tell us why. Why do we do that? Why do we hold on, which we already understand it causes us to procrastinate? Why do we do that?
I think about Linus, and y'all remember the Peanuts. Y'all remember the Charlie Brown, the Peanuts. He had that blanket that he held onto. He would not let it go because that was his comfort zone. And many of us, we're holding on to our comfort zone. We wear it like we wear it like baggage, and we're not able to move forward because we're continuing to hold on to the past. But I believe that God wants to give us the gift of the future, and planning is a part of that future. Planning is a part of one of the greatest gifts that God has given us is a future, is tomorrow.
Yes.
So if we're holding on to the past, we cannot embrace the future, which is tomorrow. And all of us have the propensity. We have a God DNA. We were created in his image.
A God DNA.
We were created in his image. So we have the ability
to. We got to stop right there.
Yeah.
Y'all got to type that. I need you to understand. He said we have a God, a G-O-D DNA. We have a God DNA. We are made up to succeed. Go ahead.
Think about COVID-19. How is it spread through saliva? And even 6 feet away, when that touches you, you can become contaminated.
Right.
But think about what God did into Adam's nostril. He breathed himself into him. I can't use the word contaminated because God is not filthy. He is not unclean.
Right.
He breathed himself into Adam. And the Bible says Adam became a living soul. So something sparked in him. He says, I'm not just average or ordinary. There is a God force on the inside of me. So I cannot sit on my destiny. And that's why the enemy fights us so hard. That's
Chanel,
why
you cannot sit on your destiny.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
No,
my
you can't.
goodness.
You
Come
can't.
on now. I love it. I love it. And Stephanie Tate, listen, you can't sit on your destiny. Whatever it is, you have a God DNA. You've been called for this. You've been called. You all go ahead and share this, this, share it, because this is some very rich information. I want you to understand we are learning tonight how to debunk the voices of fear. We are getting ready to silence the demon choir. Go ahead.
Yeah. And the more movement you have, the more you silence the enemy.
Woo!
It's when we sit down. It's when we lay down. It's when we sit. Now, there is a season of rest that we have to go through, a season of planning, but even planning is momentum.
It's movement.
And a lot of us forsake that season of planning. And even with COVID-19, many of us you may be working from home. You may have a little bit more time to really plan. This is the season. There's a Latin phrase that carpe diem is seize the moment.
Yes.
So we have to seize this moment and begin to plan and begin to mobilize and begin to do what God has called him. And when he created us, y'all, he invested himself. He breathed, which he was making an investment into us. And he has given us every resource that we need. Some of us are looking for more money. We're looking for this. We're looking for that. Can I tell you what you need is already on the inside of you? All it takes is a spark of faith to believe not only in God, but some of us, we don't even believe in ourselves. You know what? We don't believe in ourselves. We will encourage other people. We'll call them. We'll text them. We'll pray them through. But when it comes to us, sometimes we minimize what we're doing because I can't do it or I don't have the capacity to do that. We have to begin to believe. I used to think, The enemy will make us think, well, you shouldn't care about yourself. You shouldn't invest in yourself. You shouldn't do what you need to do to move forward. Yes, just like we invest in other people, y'all, we need to invest in ourselves with education. Education, Nelson Mandela says, education is one of the most powerful tools in the world. Education. You might say, well, I can't go back to school. Y'all, there is something that's called, it's going to just trip you out when I say this. Trip, that's an old school word, but YouTube University. If you can't go back to school, I dare you to log on to YouTube. And
YouTube University. Listen, that's why I'm here tonight.
Someone has something out there for you. Yeah.
YouTube University. Hey, if you've never heard of that college, go ahead and put it in go ahead. We're going to give you something for free. Go ahead and type that in the comments. YouTube University. University. I think the tuition is free of charge. Room and board is wherever you are. You can get it on your phone. You can actually do your homework from the airport. You can do your homework from the coffee shop. You can do your homework from your couch. YouTube University. Okay. I hear it. I hear you. I mean, it's so rich. The information that you're giving right now is almost like I just need you to hold on. Like I need you to stop, because sometimes when you're just being poured into, it's like a refreshing rain. I want to stop right now and thank the listeners who are coming on. Thank you so much for joining us. We see you, Joanne Brown. That's our aunt, and I'm telling you, listen, these are people who've invested in us, and we've invested in a lot of different things. What I want to encourage you to do tonight, as we're listening to the author of Demon Choir, this is the book. I want you to head over to hewillmedia.com. And you can actually purchase Demon Choir. Demon Choir is the fictional tale that you're gonna need, and Amazon. You can get this, and I actually ordered one. I need to tell you this. It's a secret. I ordered one yesterday from Barnes and Noble for my good friend. I just ordered another one because I felt like, hey, I can invest in someone else to help them overcome the fears of rejection, the levels of procrastination. Come on, Dr. Williams, continue to pour into us.
Yes, procrastination is one of those. And when you read the book, you're going to begin to read about some characters. Originally, when I began writing this book, I wanted to just be an informational book, just a Christian inspirational book about overcoming the voice of fear. But when I began to write a level of creativity that I had never really experienced before, writing about characters and people that I have never met, about their experiences. So when you read this book, you're going to begin to look at the characters. And then as you read them, you're going to look at their life and what they're doing. And then a mirror pops up in the middle of the book. And then you begin to look at yourself. That's the effect this book is having on a lot of people.
Yes.
I've even had people to order 10 books for their group, for their Bible study group, because they wanted them to be empowered. This book will change your life. It will change your perspective of fear, because a lot of times we allow fear to torment. The Bible says fear torments us. It holds us hostage. One of the things that terrorists use, they use a tactic where they take their prisoners into a room and they blindfold them and they scream into their ear all of these ideologies, all these philosophies over and over again so they can debunk whatever belief they have. And that's what the enemy tries to do to the believer. He terrorizes us with all of these thoughts. So when you read Demon Choir, you're going to see how just average, ordinary people, how they were in situations and how God brought them out. Now, sometimes we think when we go through a situation, it's going to be a Cinderella story, and sometimes it's not like that. There is some residue from the past that we have to deal with. There are some things that try to hunt us. But with God's help, we can overcome those demonic spirits that try to destroy dreams. As you go through the book, you'll see another term that we use. Some of these terms, y'all, it was so crazy that some of these terms that I don't even use in my vernacular in an everyday speech. One of the words that was annihilation. How the enemy, that's the fear of complete destruction. Have you ever gotten bad news and it totally destroyed the direction of your life just by the bad news? There are even people, it's not as bad as it thinks. When they hear the diagnosis, when they hear something, it changes everything. And it's not even bad. It's just what they heard begins to destroy it. I heard a story, and I don't know if this is a true story or not, of some scientists who grabbed some plants. So they had one set of plants to the left and one set of plants to the right. One of the plants they didn't say anything to. They just kind of ignored that plant. They didn't nurture it or anything. The other plant, they talked to it. They said how beautiful the plant, how beautiful your leaves. I see a new sprout. You're glowing. And they said the plant that they spoke to, which one grew the most? Just estimate and think and just guesstimate and see which one. It was the one that they spoke to, the one that they spoke over. So when it comes to the wording and the verbiage that we speak to ourselves, it's so important what we say to ourselves. What do you say to yourself when you wake up in the morning? What do you say to yourself when you go to sleep at night? What verbiage are you saying to yourself? Because the enemy uses that against us. He uses our mouth against us. He uses what we say against us. So that's why he doesn't even have to do the work sometimes. Sometimes he just breathe a thought into our minds. And when it comes out of our mouth, that's when we see things just totally spiral out of control. So when you continue to look at demon choir, another word that you'll hear is oscillation. And that's not a word that I use a lot.
Yes,
if you grew up in the South, if you grew up in the South and you had a grandmama, grandma didn't turn on, my grandmother, Nazareth, she did not turn on the air conditioning at a certain time. We would have to literally sit there, she would turn on that fan, and that operating fan would move back and forth, and we have to wait till 3 and 4 o'clock till that AC come on because we were hot. And the oscillating fan moves back and forth, but we cannot live our life in a back and forth motion. We have to stand still. We have to be driven. We have to have that laser focus that provides us the change that we need, the shift that we need in our life. And it's so easy to get on a rabbit trail, a squirrel route, where we just begin to go here and go there. And somebody gives us a new idea, we get a new call, and then we go in that direction. We cannot continue to do that, y'all, because we will not be successful. And I want you to ask yourself,
talk to me.
Ask yourself this question. What do you define as success? What do you define as success? I was driving down the road and the Lord asked me, Eric, what do you define as success? And I began to say all these things and say, no, that's not it, brother. Because many times what we attach to success, we attach trophies. Trophies could be your house. Trophy can be a car. It can be a career. It can even be relationships, can be trophy, whatever it is. So God has to give us our level of what we're aiming for, of what we're reaching for. And my level of success is what I'm doing right now, is teaching. Yes. That's what I'm called to do. When I teach, when I begin to share the good news that helps somebody else in their life, that's what I'm doing. That's when I'm experiencing success, when I do what God has called me to do. The question is, what has God called you to do? Or is a demon speaking voices to you to prevent you from doing what you were called to do? And many of us, we're working a job and we have to work a job to pay the bills. But God wants us to develop our work as well within that job. Because when you develop your work, then God will begin to use you mightily. You will see God use you in ways that you never even dreamed that he can use you. And that's all about drowning out the voice of fear. We have to drown the voice out of fear, and we drown it out with faith.
Now, Dr. Williams, let me ask you this question. I do want to ask you this. You ask, how do we define success?
Yes.
But you also talk about, yes, and I see you, Cedric. You say that success is the fulfillment of purpose.
Yes.
I want to start there because you bring up an interesting part of the conversation, Cedric, that we will address to Dr. Williams at this point, is because we often think of purpose as this mystical, somewhat mysterious element floating in the atmosphere that unless someone has sat at the corner of our bedside in some type of angelic garment with bright light shining around it to say, hey, this is your purpose, we do find ourselves in this rabbit hole of not being laser focused. We're consistent in being tormented by what we feel we should be doing, but that may not be what we are called to do. And we could be good at it. This is the thing. I had a very interesting conversation with a phenomenal business owner last evening. She owns a Life Financial, and her name is Kimberly Crockett. I don't mind even mentioning it. And we inspired each other. In fact, as we spoke, we talked about the baby jumping, because we felt like, oh my God, what we were talking about in that moment was us trying to pursue a level of purpose, but help us become laser focused, because just because we are good at what we can do, it may not be what we should be doing, which causes us to consistently be looking for this measure of success that we can never ever get to. And so when we combine that with the statement of what is my purpose, how do I find my purpose, what is success attached to my purpose, it becomes very, very conglomerate. It becomes almost lost. And so you do find yourself back to square one, almost giving into the demonic voices that say, never mind, just don't even worry about it, because you have no focus. You have, it's just too outlandish. So kind of help us with that.
Two things. One of my mentors is my mom, and she is a phenomenal lady. She works in the funeral home industry, and my mom gets excited about what she does. She can't wait to get to work. She works tirelessly because she loves what she does, and I see that passion in what she does. I don't know anyone else in the planet that gets excited about funerals like my mom. And it's not just about, you might think, well, I'm not making light of people dying. What I'm saying is,
absolutely,
she loves being there with people when they're hurting.
Yes.
She's the voice when they're making the arrangements and they don't know what to do. Even my mom, she's so passionate about what she does. There are people that go to other funeral homes and she will coach them on what to do, how to get through it, because she's not selfish. She's called to help people in that time. So that's passion. Another thing is success. We cannot define success by comparing ourselves to other people.
Wow.
A lot of us define our success by other people. As a pastor, I don't have a whole lot of members, but I love the Rock Family Center Church. We're not a mega church, but we are big in our vision, in our likeness. But the enemy would say, well, you don't have a whole lot of people, so you're not successful. But I think about the people who have come there whose life has changed when they walk through the door. I think about the people who are hurting, who are at plan, who were going in a different direction, and how God came in and changed your life just by being in that atmosphere. So I get excited. So what defines success for you is what excites you other than money. Take money off the table.
My God, I feel it.
Take money off the table. Take money off the table.
I know what I'm supposed to be doing.
You? What makes you get up in the morning? What makes you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to pray over something? See, you don't get up at 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the morning to pray over something that doesn't matter. When you're filled with vision, when you filled with purpose, it will keep you up at night, not in a worried state, but in an excited mode, because you know God can use you in that. And many of us we fear success. A lot of us fear success. It's not failure. Some of us even fear success because we know if we really stick to it, if we really start to do it and not go on all these rabbit chases, trying to chase other stuff. Some of us, we're good, but you're not good at everything. You're not good at everything. No one is. We look at other people who say, oh, they succeeded in one thing, then they moved to the next, then they moved to the next. They mastered one thing. Just find your one thing and let God blow on that thing.
Oh, you guys got to go ahead and type that. You know what? You're helping me. You're helping me
because the one thing, master the one thing. I'm preaching to myself because I love vision. I love purpose, but I can't get caught up. You can't get caught up in the squirrel chase. You can't get caught up in the rabbit chase. If not, you will get off focus. So pray over when we talk about success, ask God to reveal to you that one thing. And how do you know what it is? It's the thing that you think about the most. I'm talking about godly things that you think about the most, that thing, that idea that always comes to you. And sometimes people even tell you that you're good at certain things. You'll be like, no, I'm not good at that. Because sometimes we compare ourselves to other people. We have to be confident and competent, confident in knowing that God has called us, and then we build our competence. Remember I mentioned about YouTube University?
For those who are joining, we just gave y'all a new college. I know there's a lot of schools out there that you all want to pay for. We gave you one where the tuition and room and board and food is free. We gave you one. It's YouTube University. I want y'all to type that in the comments. YouTube University. You can go at no charge right now. And I have to interrupt you, Dr. Williams. I do. Because I have to be very transparent. I have to be very transparent. I'm confident. I'm competent. Mm-hmm. But what I have done is try to do so many different things because I felt that spark or that, oh my God, I got to do it. And let me tell you, you know me. I just anything that I think that I can do to include helping people, I've tried it. I've tried to do it. And I want to be very transparent in this moment that I will no longer listen. I'm still going to sell. You guys can still go purchase soaps and T-shirts and masks and bubbles and all of these different things that I sell. You can still go do that. But what I'm telling you right now, today, and this is the special announcement that I will be making in this moment. I just feel that is the time that I need to go ahead and say it. In this, don't be laughing at me, Kim. Don't be laughing at me, Pastor Kim. I'm telling you. She knows because y'all can still go and buy I got some soap. I got some scrub. I'm looking at it. I'm just glancing over it right here. I've got some wonderful things. I have a business that's great. But again, I can transparently tell you that I have tried so much because I've been so interested in telling people how they can do it, that I find myself doing it so that I know that I can help somebody to do it. But let me tell you, I get no more joy than coming on doing what I'm doing right now. And let me tell you, I've never asked for a cash app. I've never asked for any money. I've never asked for a payment. But I'm telling you right now, what I'm getting ready to announce to you, I am getting ready to launch the live webinar for business owners, for existing business owners, because teaching and helping people move forward, helping people tap into that passion, helping people get motivated, giving them the resources, that is what I definitely know I've been called to do. I've been blessed to do that. And so many people say, hey, TK, you can do this, you can do that. And guess what? I've tried it. And not that I've not enjoyed it, but it's not been the thing. You know what keeps me up at night? Like you stated, the thing that keeps me up at night is figuring out what can I do next to help somebody else? Who is the next person that I can bring on this show to help someone else? How can I assist someone getting their message out? I'm telling you, that is what blesses me. I cannot even tell you how I clam up when I'm even talking about my own stuff. Like it just took a lot of something for me, courage for me to say, I'm getting ready to present the live webinars, and you're going to see webinars from me all the time. You know why? Because that is what brings me joy. That gets me out of the bed 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning to say, let me figure out how to help someone. And you know what, you all? Yes, it is going to be an investment. Yes, I will charge for it. That's taken a lot for me to say, because you know what? I've devalued a lot that I bring to the table. True. Because, and I'm just talking I'm talking about me, but I'm talking to you all. I'm giving you my story so that hopefully you don't have to go down the rabbit hole. You don't have to do the squirrel chase. I'm letting you know right now, I've given a lot of stuff away because I felt, let me tell you why. Not because I didn't feel like it was worth anything, but I felt like I was not worth it. I felt like I was not deserving to charge for information. I felt like that, but I always invested in everybody else. I've always invested in everything else that they had to bring to the table. So I'm not charging just because I think that is something to do, but I'm charging because I just heard you say I'm worth it, I'm valuable. And the flyer is already done. The registration link is already up. It's already out. I will provide you with all of that information. But that's what brings me joy, is helping to encourage and bring motivation and resources to everybody else. Thank you, Pastor Kim. I will charge. And this time around, I promise you, Pastor Williams, Dr. Williams' cousin, I call him Pastor Cousin, and I respect him so highly that I call him Dr. Williams. So I want you to please give us the five elements at your church. Please give us the 5 elements, because you said something so important. You don't have to have a big church to have a big vision. You don't have to have the mega church to have something that is done in excellence. I want us to debunk tonight the choir that sings to us in the negative fashion. The demon choir is being silenced tonight. Thank you so much, Lillian, for joining us. This is First Lady Thomas. I appreciate you so much. I love you. Thank you for joining. Come on, Dr. Williams, finish us out. I just wanted to take that time and give a transparent moment about TK. And you all, I promise you, I'm going to promise you on this live that I am going to walk in my God-given purpose. I am going to, yes, I'm going to still sell my stuff, but I'm going to walk in my divine purpose, and I am going to allow the Lord to breathe on that one thing.
And just to add to what you said, because I know that you are a giver, giving as you and Dr. Vincent, that's your heart, that's your heartbeat. And I think sometimes, y'all, I'm just going to say this, that sometimes with our gifts, we think of them as a rummage sale, but they're actually Saks Fifth Avenue. We think of our gifts as a rummage sale.
Oh,
we
Lord.
give it away and we devalue it and we don't put a price tag on it. But your gift is, if you don't think of it as Saks Fifth Avenue, no one else will. What's the difference between Gucci and Walmart? It's value. It's worth. Some of them may have even been made in the same place, but it's value. Do you really value your gift? Do you really value what God has given you? We have to put a price tag on our gift. It's time out for us just giving away everything, because as Christians, sometimes we're very humble. We're very, oh, God bless you. Thank you, Jesus. But we have to put a value on what we're selling, on what we're doing, because if we don't value it, no one else will. I don't know about you all. I think of myself as Saks Fifth Avenue. If you don't think it, nobody else will. So better
Saks
put a
Fifth
value
Avenue versus the rummage sale.
Yeah, versus rummage sale. Now, if you have a rummage sale, if you've pioneered a rummage sale business and you're making millions on it, go for it. But if you are starting out, I want you to put a value, put a price tag on what you are doing.
I promise you, I'm going to do it. I'm going to start from this point on. I just have to let you all know I am going to start doing it, because I feel this so strongly. And I've allowed the demon choir. I've joined the demon choir. I'm a tenor in the demon choir. I sing with them. I have joined in the choir. I'm let me direct the next song, because I have come into the choir and I've joined in the conversation to say, you're not good enough. You're not valuable enough. No one is going to pay for what you have to offer. They only know as you giving it away for free. So keep doing that. And no one is going to pay for what you can give. Listen, I understand. I know it, Miss Yolanda. You made lemon cookies. You tried to sell them. You gave them all away. You know why? Because we did not stay consistent with feeling like even that lemon cookie was valuable enough. Because guess what? You're not going to go to the store and you're going to get a free lemon cookie. Of course, unless you're doing taste testing at Costco. But even then, they're going to give you a little crumb and they're going to tell you to go buy this. Listen, we are Saks Fifth Avenue versus the rummage sale. But I am so impressed by this conversation. I'm so sparked and so inspired. Continue with that. We've talked about procrastination. We've talked about annihilation. We have talked about oscillation, going back and forth in what we have been called to do. Continue the conversation for those that are coming in, and we're not going to be too much longer. Like I said, it's the biggest night in gospel music right now in 2020. And so I just wanted to bring this in, interject this on this wonderful Sunday afternoon.
Yes. So you mentioned about the Rock with Spethy. We have a principle at our church, the Rock Family Center Church. A shout out to the iRock Church. God bless you, the Rock Church, Rock Family Center Church. One of our core values is spiritually. We're allowing God to change our life spiritually, physically, emotionally, financially, and intellectually. Spethy, S-P-E-F-I.
S-P-E-F-I.
S-P-E-F-I. Going back to that, when the Lord just began to birth that into me, and I went through some really, I'm not going to go into my entire story on the night about how the ministry started, but I went through a whole lot prior to it starting. So I literally wrote the logo on just a sheet of paper. It was balled up, and I took it to a graphic designer and I gave it to him, and they turned it into something bigger than what I could imagine. So if you are dreaming right now, I want you to begin to write that on a sheet of paper. But getting back to Demon Choir, intimidation is another area, is the fear of other people. Many of us are not even intimidated by other people. We're intimidated by organizations. We're allowing that fear from moving forward. We're intimidated by family members, coworkers, other businesses, spouses. The list goes on and on. We have to think about who we are afraid of, and we have to become like David. Goliath was in his neighborhood. Goliath camped out. Family members saw Goliath and they were scared. They went running. But David emerged and said, Goliath, you're not going to intimidate me no longer. It's time for us to tackle and to destroy Goliath. And when you look at this intimidation sets us up for abuse. When you're constantly intimidated by people, it sets you up for abuse. It sets you up for people manipulating you if you are intimidated by them. And you'll see this story. You got to read this story about intimidation because it is off the charts. When you read this story, you got to get Demon Choir. Go to Amazon and order Demon Choir tonight. You can get the digital copy as well as the hardback. But getting back to intimidation is the fear of other people. We talked about procrastination, the fear of moving forward. Retaliation, the fear of letting go. Intimidation, the fear of others. Oscillation, the fear of standing still. And finally, annihilation, the fear of complete destruction. Now you all have an opportunity to drown out the voice of fear. I want you to you need to start, if some of you, if you don't journal, you need to grab your journal. I call this my $1 million book. I even added this. I used to write down all of my calendars, so I added this little small calendar to it too. I began to write down what I'm dreaming about and what I'm praying for. Begin to write down what you're dreaming about and what you're praying for, and begin to pray over it. If it can make it out of your prayer room, then you know it's God birth. If it can't make out that prayer room, leave it in the altar. That's why the Bible says to go into the closet and pray, because you have to go, you're taking everything in there that you're dreaming about and that you're thinking about. If it can make it out the prayer closet, if it can make it out of that prayer room, then you know it's God inspired. But leave it on the altar until God tells you to pick it up.
Wow. I am so inspired. And you know what? And I said, I understand we're competing against a lot right now on social media, but I was so impressed by God to go ahead and move forward with this because I know that there are so many people who are in need of just that one little nudge, that one little push to say, it's time. Go ahead, move forward. You have people that are supporting you. You have people that are with you. I've given my transparent story, and may I add to you all, this is my cousin. I've known him all of my life. This is my first cousin. He's just a year or two older than I am. But may I tell you, he's endured challenges in his life health-wise, and it's not been easy for him. But one thing about it, my cousin will tell you his story, but I can tell you this part of the story. My cousin was born with one leg shorter than the other. The doctors proclaimed that he would never walk. Yet, with the prayers of the righteous, my grandmother, I watched, I was not able, I didn't have the luxury. So I'm going to give you another nugget. If you're with your family and you're around your family, I'm almost in tears right now. Treasure that. It's a luxury. I was in a military family. My father joined the military, and from day one, we traveled. And the only time I would be able to be with my extended family is usually maybe perhaps during the summers when my family, my mother and father would allow us to either travel from overseas or from another state to go visit my grandmother and my cousins in Shreveport, Louisiana. And I watched how, even with one leg shorter than the other, my cousin walking on a crutches all of his life. Y'all hear me in the spirit when I say this. Don't just think of this in a natural sense. He was on crutches all of his life. Let me tell you something. I watched my grandmother when we would be outside playing kickball. My grandmother did not allow my cousin Eric to sit on the sideline because he had one leg shorter than the other and on crutches. He also had to get out and play. He also had to come and be a part of what we were doing. It was a push, and that drive, you can pick up the story from here. That drive, I've watched my cousin transform masses of people, with people not even knowing his story. And if you look at him, you will never, ever be able to tell. But we can feel so sorry for people that we will become the crutch for them. I used to feel so sorry for my cousin, and I would just be like, why are you making him play? He can't, he can't. And I would have carried Eric throughout the course of the time that I could have. That in and of itself would have been a crutch. And so what I want you to do, even hearing that, I want you to release people that you've been carrying. I want you to stop feeling sorry for people. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. I'm sure that there were days that my cousin asked the question, why was I born this way? Why couldn't I have had normal limbs and normal activity and normal usage? Why did you choose me to be this way? But we see right now, I'm telling you right now, I feel impressed by the Spirit of the Holy Ghost, just by the Spirit of God, just by the anointing of the Holy Ghost. I feel impressed to say that you've been walking on crutches. You've been on these crutches all of these years. It's time to get off of the sideline. It's time to release your crutches. It's time to figure out how you are going to get in the game. Go ahead, Dr. Williams.
Yes. And some of us, if you're like me and I have on crutches, the enemy left you for dead. Some of us were left for dead. Some people have given up on you and have wrote you off.
Talk about it. I'm
talking to that person because I felt like that at times, that you might have been left for dead. The enemy has pronounced judgment upon you. People have slandered against you and said you would never be anything. But I want you to know that you're going to rise out of this. And that's what Demon Choir is all about, overcoming that voice of fear. There is a choir that speaks to us that makes us want to quit and want to give up. But I want you to rise up, get up. I know it's like being in the ring with Muhammad Ali. You're fighting and you're down for the count, and the enemy says that you're not going to get up. Yes, I have crutches. I use a crutch to walk. But my father always told me that don't use your crutch for a crutch. Some of us, we don't have physical crutches, but we have other stuff that we are holding on to that we have not let go. Loose it and let it go. Whatever you are holding on to, you might be holding on to a demonic attachment in your life. Let it go, because it's time for us to move forward. It's time for us to let go of the voice of fear. It's time for us to overcome. The Bible says, nay, in all things we are more than what? Somebody type that in. Nay, in all things we are more. The Bible says we are more than conquerors. So I want you to think about that thing in your life that the enemy has assigned to you to say that that's going to be your funeral. It's going to be over for you. You have to overcome that thing and say, God, I am going to, y'all, it's the time, the season now. This is spring season. I know it's summer. I know in Louisiana, it is hot as I don't know what here, but it is a spring season. When you think about spring, that's the time to birth things. That's the time that things come forth. This is our spring season in the spiritual realm. This is not the season. This is not a winter season where things are freezing up. This is a spring season. So now it's the time to cultivate your dreams, to cultivate your vision. I see God even using my wife. She started a driving school a couple years back, and it was just, it wasn't really panning out, but I see how God is breathing even up on her business, even in a pandemic, y'all. God can bless you. God can bless your business. He can bless your idea if you just release it. Release that crutch, release that thing in your life that's trying to keep you from moving forward. And it's the enemy. It's the enemy. He has a demonic voice, and he doesn't want you to move out. He doesn't want you to step out. He wants you to be stagnant. He wants you to procrastinate. He wants you to retaliate. He wants you to oscillate. He wants to annihilate everything God has attached to your life. But y'all, this is our spring season. This is my spring season. I'm not going to die. I shall live. I shall live. Yes.
Well, Dr. Williams, this has been so phenomenal. We're getting ready to cut out of here. And but before we go, I just want to appreciate you one more time for just your insight and your wisdom and how you have inspired. I said, Lord, even if I come on this awesome night in gospel music and one person is to go back and listen to this and are blessed by what you're saying, I appreciate God for the opportunity. Thank you for sharing your gift with the world. Thank you. I want to also, again, I want to tell you, Demon Choir is a book that you need to get. And tonight, I am going to bless 2 people with Demon Choir. I will inbox those who I have seen seriously going through this. I am going to bless 2 individuals of this particular broadcast. So I will be ordering the books tonight. I will inbox those persons to thank them for joining this show. I will be ordering 2 books for the listening audience, 2 of the persons in the listening audience tonight, because I want to personally bless more people. Yes, ma'am. Then I'll be ordering 3. I'll be ordering 3. I'll be ordering 3 because I definitely, just because you said me, that's what, jump right in. I want to also invite you all. I want to show you some things that I'm going to be doing, and I want to make sure that you are aware of it. I want to also put out here that on September the 1st, give me one moment. I'm going to remove us from the stream quickly, and I want to show you the flyer that I will be launching. I did talk about it. Demon Choir has helped me to move forward and ask God to breathe on that one thing. So I have something launching that's going to be very special. So bear with me. I'm going to show you right now. Give us one moment. We'll be right back. So as you saw very briefly, I will be posting this right after. It is, you can't see the whole flyer, but it's just a snippet of showing you that on September the 1st, Tuesday night, September the 1st at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, I'm going to move in the things of God that he has placed upon my heart. Listen, why wait till Friday to get paid? We're going to be talking to new and existing business owners during this live webinar. You can register for it. I will put all of the registration information out there so that you can actually see it. I also want you to subscribe to Working the Dash. I want you to subscribe to workingthedash.com. That way, when we do send out emails and things of that nature, you will be able to see that. But again, we will, and it is a very, very small fee. Not too much, but I want you to invite new and existing business owners, and I want you to be a part of that live webinar. It is going to be phenomenal. You will receive your Zoom information possibly a day probably before, because we want it to be completely fair to those who have paid. So, and with this, if you pay, you are able to invite one individual. You'll be able to invite one individual with that Zoom information. You'll be able to invite one individual that's a new and existing business owner to come and be a part of that. So I'm going to move into things of God, because teaching, training, motivating, and providing resources on any level, be it ministry, business, corporate, that's what I love to do. So I appreciate my cousin. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Williams, pastor, author, trainer, motivator. Thank you so much for providing us with the necessary tools to silence the demon choir. I will also type in the comments. You all know how Facebook is. It's nicely algorithmed to where when you start putting in websites and things of that nature in the top portion, it takes it out of the algorithm. You know, it's designed because, you know, of course they want you to pay for those subscriptions, which I definitely get that. So we will put the information. Dr. Williams, you can go ahead and start putting the links in the comments as to how we can all purchase Demon Choir. I am so grateful, so thankful to you for joining us tonight. Thank you, listening audience. Thank you, Cassandra, for joining us. And Gabriel, thank you so much. He's done a lot in the areas of, you know, graphics and things like that. So we really appreciate you for joining us. Thank you all so much for joining in to the Chat with TK. Catch us again. We've got something great coming up. Listen, this Tuesday night, the Chat with TK is going to be phenomenal. I'm going to be posting a lot of stuff. So if you want to be on the Chat with TK, just, hey, hit me up. Let me know. This has been just a phenomenal segment tonight. The Demon Choir, debunking and overcoming the voices of fear. Dr. Williams, give us closing remarks and please help us to move forward in our God-given promises and purpose.
Yes, I really appreciate you. And let's support TK. Let's support her in this endeavor. We all need to sign up for this class. I know it's going to be monumental and groundbreaking, but I thank you all for joining us on tonight. Also, you can get your virtual. We're practicing social distancing. We're doing a virtual book signing. So if you inbox me, $EQ, capital EQ style, Cash App, we can get a copy of it. It's $15. We'll sign and autograph that copy and send it to you from my pen to your home. So that's $EQ style. You can Cash App and we can send that. It's only $15 and we can send a copy of that book to you. And also, I just wanted to say I'm super excited. We'll be announcing our scholarship recipient, a Big Out Scholarship Fund. We'll be announcing that recipient on this week. We're excited about this young lady. We'll let you know who she is on this week.
So let me interject there. The book Demon Choir, the book Demon Choir actually has attached to it a scholarship program. So proceeds from Demon Choir actually go to support a scholarship for young people who are trying to go to school, and they've been giving out this scholarship. So, you know, a lot of things that we do, we have blessed so many people, but because that's our heart, we're doing that. I want you to go to $EQ style, order the book. It's only $15, and it's going to continue to support the scholarship information, scholarships for these young people. I see Christopher Sumner on the line with us right now. Listen, Tuesday night is going to be phenomenal. We will be talking about faith and fashion on the Chat with TK. He is the host of Off the Cuff podcast. And I want you to join me because, hey, I'll be releasing a little secret about myself relative to Christopher Sumner, and how he imparted into my life on the musical side. So I am just so happy. So we're moving forward. We're allowing God to breathe on the thing that excites us. We want him to lift us. Give us one last comment about how we overcome the voices of fear, and we will be out.
Yes, I want you all to just go and just really begin to write down that vision God has given you. Begin to speak it out loud. Begin to talk about it, but don't tell everyone about it, because you know what happened to Joseph? They threw him in a pit. So grab that pen, grab that paper, and begin to write out. You might be an author, you might be a singer, you might be a writer, you might be a preacher. Whatever it is, I want you to commit yourself to making that thing happen and write it down and pray over it. Thank God for you, Brother Gabe. Much love to you too, and my sister Esther. But we want you all to begin to work the vision. That's what Working the Dash is all about. Working and writing out that vision. I'm excited about this platform, Working the Dash. It inspires me. I read your posts, TK. It inspires me. It's just having a network of people to inspire you. And you may not, in the book, you'll read about this phenomenon called phantom bully. There is things on the outside that try to destroy dreams, but also you can have a phantom mentor. Just like I mentioned about YouTube, you can go and actually type in and read about what your mentors. That's what I do. Miles Monroe is not living anymore, but many of his messages, his books, I can go read and learn from his mistakes. Learn from your mentor's mistakes. It is better to hear advice than to give it. So
Woo.
you need to go read about your mentors. Go read them. If you haven't met them before, I'm pretty sure they have a book or a quote. People who are very notable, go find them. And if it's someone around you, your mentors are not always famous. They're not on television. Go find that mentor. Many of them, I have my uncles, my TK's father, Pastor Earl Peterson, a phenomenal preacher, a phenomenal man, a mentor to me. My uncle JP, God bless you. All those men who have helped cultivate me and help me be a better person. And truly, my wife, I love her, Lady Dezetta Williams. She's such a wonderful woman.
Yes,
Metropolitan Driving School South. She's a part of also that scholarship fund as well. So all the people who inspire me and make me be a better person. And I want you to find someone or find something to inspire you. And the Word of God is the go-to place. And also get a copy. Make sure you get a copy of Demon Choir and read it. I promise you, you will never be the same after you read this book.
Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, listening audience. Until next time, which will be Tuesday, we will see you one more time on the Chat with TK. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great and phenomenal evening.
Thank you.